So for lesson 84, we're looking at selecting an appropriate rational number. If we think of how we can represent our numbers, we have three different ways. We have percentages, we have fractions, we also have decimals. And sometimes if we get into a certain form, it makes our operations a little bit easier to perform. So if we look at example 1a, we have how much is 40% of 1/2 of $12.60. As you can see, we have three different numbers there. All three are in a different form. We have the percent, we have the fraction, and we also have the decimal. Well, we know that of is multiplication, so we're just going to be multiplying all three of these numbers together. But the question is, what's going to be the easiest form to get into so that we can multiply these? So if we're looking at them, we have 40% times 1/2 times 1260. And if I'm looking at this problem, I'm going to say maybe converting it to a decimal is going to be the easiest. Because I know that 1/2 is equal to 0.5. The 12.6 is already in decimal form. And I can always convert a percentage to a decimal just by moving it 2 places, therefore 0.4. And notice the conversion was fairly easy to make there with those. So if we go ahead and multiply these first two together, 0.4 and 0.5, if you do the math, you'll find that to be 0.2. And now we're simply going to take 12.6 times that 0.2. Two places over. So I'm coming up with $2.52. So the point there with part A, maybe the decimal was the easiest route to go. Not saying that it's the only route. We maybe could have converted everything to a fraction and then we could have went from there as well. Let's do one more. Let's look at B. Here we want to know how much is 66.5% of 5/6 of 1260. And actually, instead of 1/2, we actually want to look at this as being 2/3. So I apologize. 66 2/3%. Do we know what fraction that is? Well, I do know that that's going to be exactly 2/3. And the 5/6, well, that's a fraction. Let's go ahead and leave it that way. And this 1260, we could technically say it's a fraction because we can take any number and put it over 1. So to me, the key for this one is converting that 66 2/3% to a fraction. Then we'll go ahead and multiply those two fractions and then deal with the last part at the end. So 2 times 5 will get us 10. 3 times 6 will get us 18. We know that 10 over 18 is going to get us 5 over 9. And then at this point, what we can do is just go ahead and multiply the two together. We can take 12.6 times the 5, so 0, 3. So we have 63 over 9 times 1, which is 9. So here we're coming out with an even $7. Nice and short for this one. Practice set, I want you to do A, B, and E.